Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Sadler-Jones. I'm the Assistant City Administrator for Wednesday, March the 8th, 2017 at 10 o'clock a.m. Board members present to my left is Scott Stokes, the Director of Public Works, and to his left is Mary Moore, the Library Director. Christiana Craddock is the Executive Assistant to the City Administrator, and she will be taking the official meeting minutes. First item is a public hearing, variance request V17013, allow front setback reduction 0.29 acres, land lot 376, 2621 Linwood Drive. Jose Gustavo Sossman is the applicant, and this item is being withdrawn at the request of city staff. Mr. Stobbs, do you want to make any comments?
Joey Stobbs, Planner 2, Community Development. After further investigation, it was determined the front porch met the front setback requirements, so there's no need for the variance.
Okay. All right. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to withdraw variance request V17-013, allowing the front setback from 35 feet to 30 feet, 0.29 acres, land lot 3762621 Linwood Drive.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve the withdrawal of variance request V17013. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V17014, allow fence height increase in front yard from 4 feet to 6 feet on a corner lot, 0.39 acres, land lot 596, 3257 Pine Tree Drive, Karsten and Anna Hellinger. Okay, can you step to the podium, please? And for the record, can you state your name again?
Yes, Karsten Eiliger.
Okay, speak into the mic, please. And can you please tell us about your variance request?
Sure. The lot itself has a 4-foot fence surrounding the backyard. It's actually a front yard, I suppose, as it's on the corner. The issue is there's a pool back there, and the way the fence is currently constructed, it is very easy to scale the fence. My 5-year-old has been able to hop over it. Mm-hmm. There are a number of young children in the neighborhood. We're more than a little concerned that come summertime, we're going to have kids hopping the fence unsupervised in the pool. Hence the request for the variance, just raise the existing fence or replace the existing fence along its current line with a higher fence that's far more difficult to scale.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? All right. You can have a seat on the front row. At this time, we'll have comments by the staff, please.
Applicant is requesting a variance at 3257 Pine Tree Drive to increase the fence height from 4 feet to 6 feet. It's on a corner lot. It's at the corner of Collier Drive and Pine Tree. There is an existing 4-foot fence, as the applicant said. They are requesting to replace with a 6-foot privacy fence. It's a section that's about 32 feet in length. That's parallel to Collier. It's existing fence there, and just for privacy and for security purposes, they're requesting it be raised to 6 feet. We've posted signage on the property, and they've notified the adjacent properties, heard no opposition regarding the request. We recommend approval with one condition, that approval be conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan and fence details submitted with the variance application.
Okay. And for the record, the applicant, do you accept the one condition as stated?
Yes.
Thank you. Any questions for the staff? This is a public hearing. If anyone else would like to speak regarding this issue, please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve variance request V17-014, allow fence height increase in front yard from 4 feet to 6 feet on a corner lot, 36.39 acres, land lot 596, 3257 Pine Tree Drive.
Second motion with the stipulation that the approval is conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan and fence details submitted with the application.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V17014. All in favor, please vote. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V17015. Allow additional accessory structure in rear yard, 0.83 acres, land lot 543, 1358 Winbrook Trace, Courtney and Matthew Lavalle. Can you step to the podium, please? And for the record, can you state your name?
My name is Chris Adamczak. I represent the Lavalles.
You're representing them?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I
And-
did the drafting for the permit
Okay,
and the variance.
all right. Can you tell us about their variance request, please?
They bought the house in hopes to build a pool. They had no idea that there was a accessory structure stipulation. There's a small batting cage on the back side of the property that's below a wall, and they do have a sports court, both of which are level with the ground, and they're asking for the addition of a pool to add the third structure.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right. Can you sit on the front row, please, and we'll have our staff make comment.
The applicant is requesting an additional accessory structure in the rear yard at 1358 Winbrook Trace. As the applicant said, this is it's a residential property with an existing batting cage and a basketball sports court. They're wanting to install an underground pool in the rear yard. It's in the Vinings Estates neighborhood. The property is adjacent to Whitfield Academy in the rear yard, which is densely forested type woods there. So the applicant has received approval from the Vinings Estates HOA. Since these are, at least the court and the pool is an at-grade structure, we do not see this being an issue or that approval would cause any impact on the adjacent properties. So we've posted signage, and the property owners notified the adjacent properties. We've heard no opposition regarding the request, and we recommend approval of the variance request.
Any questions for the staff?
I was just wondering if the applicant can tell us a little bit about the fence that you're going to build around the pool for security.
It'll be a 5-foot aluminum rock style fence. There is already an existing fence there. We're just adding. There's a wall there that the fence sits on top of. We'll be adding self-closing, self-latching gates per code. So everything will be per code.
We had a question for you. I guess the pool deck and all that, I mean, are we runoff from that area goes in which direction?
Without seeing the plan, the yard's fairly level. So there's already the drainage that's set up with the sports court, and it would be just there's not a lot of decking going around the pool, so it would be shed drained. There's a wall that the pool is adjacent to that already has its drainage. So I saw when I did the site plan, there was no real concerns, as he had stated, that there is a large wooded area between it and the academy that I don't see there would be any impact with extra drainage or runoff.
All right. What I'll probably do is part of a motion may be to ensure that the drainage from the pool and the pool deck does not impact adjoining neighbors.
Very well.
Do you accept that condition?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, please step to the podium at this time. seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V17-015, allow additional accessory structure in the rear yard, .83 acres, land lot 5431358, Winbrook Trace, with the condition that the pool deck and the construction of the pool runoff does not affect adjoining neighbors.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V17013. All in favor, please vote. I'm sorry, 015. All right, motion passes unanimously. Next item is variance request V17016. Allow encroachment into city's 50-foot undisturbed buffer and 75-foot impervious setback, 21.69 acres, land lot 663, 1836 Roswell Street, Avon Lee Square, LLC, Mark Kapler, and manager, and Kevin Moore, attorney. Is anyone here from the? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
And for the record, can you state your name, please?
Good morning. I'm Kevin Moore. I'm attorney representing the owner, which is Avonlea Square LLC, which is a company or affiliated with Quintus Corporation, which is a local multifamily developer and owner and operator, and owns several multifamily communities in the Atlanta area, including here in Smyrna. And they had undertaken the redevelopment of Avonlea Square. They do an excellent job. Unfortunately, in this instance, a mistake was made with a proposed playground area. They were trying to provide a recreation and a playground area for the redevelopment of the Avonlea Square community. And this particular area where the stream was located, the contractor and owner simply missed that seemed like a very natural place to clean up and place some light playground equipment, and have a very nice area to not only do that with, but connect and provide somewhat of a nature trail. This particular end of the stream and lower of it is not well defined in terms of a beautiful stream that you might think of. It has had dumping and not much care taken to it over a large number of years, and it was simply missed. Once they were made aware that they had encroached into the city's stream buffer, they immediately took steps to meet with appropriate members of community development, including Public Works and others involved with community development, to determine what could be done and what needed to be done in order to rectify the situation. So they certainly have recognized that and recognized the seriousness of it. This is not, that's why I'm here, is because of that, and immediately became engaged with that to work with city staff and community development and Public Works to determine what would be an appropriate restoration plan. With that, they did submit, as part of the application for a variance to allow for this encroachment, a park layout plan which shows the locations of kind of your typical light swing set and a jungle gym and some benches that would be placed and that are placed within that city's undisturbed buffer area. That has already been completely remulched and now has new mulch down across the entire area, so that there's not any impervious area being added to the buffer area. In addition, that plan is a restoration plan that was prepared by Avonlea Square, the owner, as in concert with and cooperation with city staff as to what would be appropriate plantings, both in terms of number and location throughout the stream area, which will actually add to its beautification and restoration, as well as providing for a much more natural area. A little bit about that restoration plan, just so you know the extent to which they've committed to this. It contains a total of 272 plantings of trees, shrubs, and bushes. This consists of 15 varieties of trees, shrubs, and bushes for this restoration plan. We've submitted that as part of this application and agree with staff that any Variance approval should be subject to and conditioned upon the restoration plan as presented, which contains both the amounts, species, and variety that are planned for here. A little bit about Avenue Square. Without this space, there is no other location for an appropriate recreation area for the residents. It also provides for, as I stated, an additional nature trail as well that can be used by the residents. It's good, really good for the Avenue Square community as far as providing for that space for on-site recreation area. And at the end of the day, the restoration that will be undertaken by the owner is both expensive and expansive, and will really add to and put it back into a much more beautiful state than it really was before, even though the mistake was made, and they certainly are apologetic and have expressed that over and over again to city staff. With that, I'm here to answer any questions about the variance request, about their plans, and about the restoration plan. Certainly happy to answer those questions for you, and would respectfully request your approval so they can immediately begin the restoration plannings.
Any questions for the applicant?
Yes. The nature trail you mentioned, is it part of this playground assemblage?
It's only, there's a wood bridge that would be constructed across the creek. It's part of that. It attaches and connects with that.
Okay, so we're not talking about a concrete or asphalt trail that
No,
meanders wherever we're.
no. One of the conditions, and certainly it's one we're in agreement with, is there would be no additional, or there's not any now, but no impervious area added to this whatsoever.
Pull the mic up to you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
And so it's a wood bridge. It's not it's just a little wood pedestrian bridge, one that, not a concrete or steel bridge.
All right.
That's what's proposed anyway.
All right. At this time, if you can sit on the front row there, we'll have our staff, Joey Stobbs, makes comments from Community Development.
Applicant is requesting a variance at 1836 Roswell Street to allow encroachment into the 50-foot undisturbed buffer and 75-foot impervious setback. This is at Avonlea apartment complex on Roswell Street. The area where this is proposed has already been cleared and graded, so now we're just looking to see what can be done at this point to restore the buffer and limit or mitigate any potential impacts. The play area is basically a swing set, a jungle gym type structure. Talking about like one swing, one slide, and one climbing apparatus. Nothing substantial. There's still a significant buffer between it and the adjacent properties. So what was there in this small portion was pine trees, basically. There's still, I don't know how many, 100 or 200 feet of pine trees between it and the adjacent properties that acts as a buffer. So, but as we said, elsewhere on their site, there's not much area to put this play area. Aside from the buffer issue, if they wanted to put the play area there, there would be no other issues that would. They could put the play area there had there not been a buffer issue. So that's about all I've got. We've reviewed the request, and adjacent properties have been notified. We've posted signage. We've recommended approval along with the city engineer to approve with 2 conditions. Approval is conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan and buffer restoration submitted with the variance application. 2, no additional impervious area within the 50-foot undisturbed buffer or 75-foot impervious setback other than what is depicted on the site plan shall be allowed.
Okay. Any questions for the staff?
Joey, how did this come to be? Did somebody call about somebody in the buffer, or what happened?
Rusty Martin, Senior Planner with Community Development Department. I was out there doing a tree inspection for 1 year after planting. We just inspect and make sure the trees are being maintained and they're alive. And if any die at that point, then we try to get them replaced because it's a requirement of the tree ordinance. As we were doing our inspections out there, we saw that they had installed the playground and they had graded up to the edge of the creek bank. So we notified the city engineer and the property owner, and we met out on site and discussed the issue.
Okay, so city engineer and staff all have been on site to look at this.
Yeah, and
Okay.
environmental tech and everybody else.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, please step to the podium at this time. And for the record, can you state your name, please?
Charlie Wiley.
Okay.
Edith Lester, Maddie Conley, Valerie Vini.
Okay.
Okay, can we ask questions to the gentleman as well?
Yes, that'll be fine.
Okay, I just want to know if they are the owners of the property that's in question for the park. Do they actually own the property that they're requesting a variance for?
Mr. Moore, they want to know, yes.
I stand in objection to the variance, being that we are just a little downstream and all these properties around it. And they gave I guess the description, how it's very unkept and needs care and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a beautiful natural park as it is right now, naturally. And I grew up playing in the creek, catching crawfish and these types of things. And with all due respect, no offense to these gentlemen, but if they made the mistake with the variance, I don't think they should be able to come and encroach into the 25 feet and the 75 feet permeable area of the park. And I think it will negatively affect the downstream as well as those around the property. And maybe some of the ladies here would have. And we're also concerned about the liability. But they say if they own the property, I don't know if that's as big an issue or not. But I know the area fairly well, and the properties around it are in objection. And being that this the time of day it is, they were not able to come because they do work. We're working people in the community, and I just stepped aside for some of the others that may have something to say.
Can we find out the address of all
Yeah.
each person, please?
Yeah. Can you please state your address, please?
2554 Garden Circle, Smyrna, Georgia. What is the other one?
No, I just need
just yours.
I don't need any.
Okay, I'm here with my mother. This is her address.
Okay.
The one the property that I own is 2566 Gordon Circle.
Okay.
They don't have that listed on here, but my name is, because I live in College Park, mine is there. And I am opposed to it because of the fact that the future, I don't know what we might want to do with that property a little later on, and if there's a playground there,
Especially the fence.
and a fence, and we decide to put a business, if it goes commercial, and we put a business there, we wouldn't be able to use it. The playground might be too close to whatever we decide to do with it.
Okay. Can you state your name and address again, please?
My name is Valerie Vini, and my address is 2567 Bates Street in Smyrna. I have some questions and I have some statements. One, has this playground already been built? is the first question. I have tried as a neighbor, and he suggested that signs have been posted. The only notification we received was in the mail. When they were doing the clearing in the back of my yard, I tried to enter Avonlea Estates to discuss what was going on, and I was not allowed to enter the community. I don't know why there needs to be a separation and its own playground when Rose Garden Park exists, has been modified and updated, and is available for the community. Avonlea Estates wants to have its own community and its own community playground, but they are severely opposed to the public entering onto their property. I have tried on several occasions up until yesterday to call the city planner's office, to call the community office. I left messages for him. I've left messages for him since I've received this notification and have not gotten a phone call or an email back from anyone. There's not a clear direction on where this fence will be, how this fence will, or how any of this will affect the property owners and our property that is there. That needs to be set out a little further. This map that they gave us, that is here, describes their property. It doesn't describe what happens to our side of the property that actually goes over this stream, or however you call it. So I came this morning hoping for some more information about what this is actually going to entail. But I'm beginning to think that the playground is already there. Okay, so that's the first question that I would like someone to answer.
Mr. Moore, is the playground there already? The equipment has been installed? Okay. Right.
Okay, so the playground is there. So we're no longer discussing whether or not it's there, but how is the rest of this going to affect the property owners that live directly behind it? And that's a question that I think we all need to have answered.
Okay, all right. Is there another, ma'am, would you like to speak now?
Just ask them if they're in violation.
My property is 2554 Gordon Circle, and we definitely oppose a variance because we don't know what it entails once it's put in place. Is there any violation of the variance right now?
You're asking, is there a violation of the variance?
Yes. Right now.
You want to address that for them?
For clarification purposes, the playground is erected. When I was doing my inspection, my tree inspection, I saw the playground, saw its location near the existing stream. And then that's when we called Public Works staff and the city engineer out to review the case, and they said yes, they have encroached into the stream buffer. So our interpretation, there's a violation, but we're more concerned about compliance, so we give the property owner the opportunity to come into compliance. Okay. That's why we're here today. We're going through the variance process. If the city finds what they're proposing acceptable in their remediation plan with trees and everything else, then this issue will be resolved if the city approves the variance. If not, then we'll have to go they'll have to remove the items, or if not, then we'll have to start the citation process.
Okay. And the recommendation for the community development is approval based upon the information that we have here today. Just
Yes, the city engineers has reviewed this because he oversees streams and stormwaters. They are restoring what was disturbed. There's nothing else additional happening there except restoration. But there's no more clearing. There's no more fences that I'm aware of. This is 200 feet away from any property line.
okay.
So it's totally on their property. So yes, we recommended approval of their restoration plan.
Okay.
I've got a question for either, maybe you, Mr. Moore, too.
Certainly, Mr. Stokes.
This is a private apartment community, correct?
That's correct.
Is there a fence around the community now?
There is, at least what I'm looking at the Alta survey, which is an as-built survey, which shows a fence along that rear property line that was existing. Where this playground equipment is located is on the other side of the stream and more up into the community, well away from,
Right.
as Mr. Stodd said, well away from any adjoining property owners on the other side of the little stream. And I want to make sure I didn't want to disrespect the gentleman that spoke earlier. When I was talking about the state of the stream, I was talking about on this property, not what somebody else has done with it, because there's a good bit of it that's shown on this property with that Alta survey. So, and again, it consists of a single swing set, a single little climbing, slide, jungle gym that you may have seen. It's small playground equipment just so that there is a recreation area, someplace to go there, like most communities have of some form or the other. That's all it consists of. It's not proposed for a public park, which, as a result, it doesn't have any impact on future use of adjoining property. If it was a public park, it might, because there's certain rules that apply. But this is not. This would not carry that. It's just a private playground like you'd have in your backyard.
And I think it's based upon, the ladies that spoke, it's not uncommon for an apartment complex to just have recreational things for just the residents.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And if she had said she wanted to see it, and I certainly apologize for them. I'm sure that the management, not knowing who or what, may have had some issues with that. But I'm more than happy to arrange and coordinate for her to be able to come and look at it and see it.
Okay.
And happy to do that.
All right.
Because you asked about fencing around the property. There is a fence around the property. However, where my property and this property meet, that fence is currently in need of repair and will probably always be in need of repair because it is and always was a quote-unquote cut-through for the people in the neighborhood. It is easy access to get across to Windy Hill Road. And I've tried, again, to speak to them about that and how that gets rectified on their end because it is their fence. So there is some fencing at some points, and at other points there is no fencing.
Again, if I could address, I'd love to answer a question if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine.
And I'm happy to take her information or number, and I'll make sure that if there's fence repair needed, that is communicated and make sure that, I would even offer that as a condition of any type of variance approval, that any fencing that needs to be maintained or repaired be done by the applicant as the owner. That certainly is something they need to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. At this time, I don't have any other questions. Do anybody have any other questions? And also, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
You ready or not? I'll make a motion to approve variance request V 17-016 to allow encroachment onto the city 50-foot undisturbed buffer and the 75-foot impervious setback to 21.69 acres, land lot 6631836, Roswell Street, Avalon Square LLC, with the following conditions. That approval is conditioned upon the substantial compliance with the site plan and buffer restoration as submitted with a variance application. No additional impervious area within the 50-foot undisturbed buffer or the 75-foot impervious setback other than what is depicted on the site plan shall be allowed, and that the property owner of Avalon Square will take care of any fence repairs necessary around their subject site.
Second.
And for the record, Attorney Moore, do you accept the three conditions as stated?
Yes, we certainly do.
Thank you. It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V1703016. All in favor, please vote. All right. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a approval of the February 22nd, 2017 meeting minutes of the License and Variance Board.
Motion to approve the minutes from the February 22, 2017 meeting minutes of the License and Variance Board.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve the February 22nd, 2017 meeting minutes. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to declare this meeting adjourned at 10:37 a.m. Thank you.